to take them to Liverpool. So he started to burn the wood on the Henrietta. Okay, have you understand?
Yeah.
Have you
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Okay. So the sailors burned all the tables, the chairs, the doors, and the wooden boards from the floor. 4 days after that, the Henrietta arrived in Queenstown, in the west of Ireland. There was no more wood on it at all. Liverpool's too far, so let's get off here, said Fogg to Mrs. Oda, Passepartout, and Fix. And with that, Fogg and paid Captain Speedy, and all 4 passengers got off the ship. Fix didn't arrest Fogg in Queenstown. He was waiting for them to arrive in England before he did that. In Queenstown, they got on a train and traveled to Dublin. There they got a fast ship to Liverpool. When they arrived in Liverpool, Fix arrested Fogg at the last and took him to prison. In prison, Fogg looked at his diary. Saturday, 21st December, 11:40 a.m. He arrived in Liverpool. Again?
مين اللي راح prison أو سجن؟
No, look at his diary. The diary is a note that he writes what did he do every day. Have you understand, Ahmed? Okay. At 2 o'clock, he looked at his watch. If I leave now and go to London on fast train, I'll be at my club at 8:45 this evening, he thought. At 3:30, Fix visited Fogg in the prison with Mrs. Oda and Passepartout. I'm sorry, Mr. Fogg, said Fix, but that gentleman thief. He's tall, handsome man. His name is James Strand. So here, folks know that Mr. Fogg wasn't that gentleman thief, and the thief was James Strand. He was arrested 3 days ago. Eh? What have you said? I can't hear you.
لا كنت بقول جيمس ترانت.
Eh?
كنت بقول جيمس ترانت كنت بربي وراك يعني.
Yes, okay. He was arrested 3 days ago. You're free to go. Angrily, Fogg marched out of the prison. Then Fogg, Mrs. Oda, and Passepartout ran to Liverpool station. They got on a fast train to London. The train arrived in London at 10 minutes to 9. Fogg was 5 minutes late for his meeting with Stewart. Fogg didn't want to go to his club late, so he went home with Mrs. Oda and Passepartout around the world in 80 days and 5 minutes. He was a loser. He only had 20,000 in the bank after his long and expensive journey, and he had to give it all to Stewart. The next day, Fogg didn't want to go to his club. He felt sick, and he didn't eat anything. He stayed in his room all day, and he didn't want to see or speak to anyone. Passepartout and Mrs. Oda were very worried about him. Early that evening, Fogg called Passepartout to him. I won't speak to Mrs. Oda, he said. Will she see me? Passepartout went to speak to Mrs. Oda and then returned to his master. Yes, she will. He said she is waiting for you in the living room. Soon Fogg was sitting in a chair on the right of the fire. In the living room, Mrs. Oda was sitting in the chair in front of him on the left of the fire. The fire gave a soft orange light in everything in the room. You wanted to see me? Again, Mrs. Oda. Yes, I want to speak to you, he answered. Well, I'm listening. For a time, the only noise in the room came from the wood fire. Then Fogg spoke again. Look, I'm sorry for bringing you here, he said in a sad voice. When I met you for the first time, I had money. Now I'm a poor man, and you deserve better than me. Don't worry, Mrs. Oda in her soft voice. You rescued me from danger, and I have followed you around the world since then. I feel safe with you. So, will you marry me? Asked Fogg. Of course I will, answered Mrs. Oda. But when? As soon as we can. Tomorrow, maybe, said Fogg. Fogg told Passepartout at once, Mrs. Oda and I want to marry tomorrow, Monday, 23rd of December. Can you organize it? Yes, of course. And he hurried out to organize things at once. But soon he returned. Mr. Fogg, you can't get married tomorrow. Why not? He was very surprised because tomorrow's Sunday and nobody gets married on Sunday. What are you saying? Today's Sunday, 22nd, and tomorrow's Monday? No, Mr. Fogg, today is Saturday. And today's Thursday is the 21st of December, not Sunday, the 22nd. When you travel east around the world, you get an extra day. So you aren't late for the meeting with Mr. Stewart and the club after all. It's tonight, but you must hurry. Fogg quickly put on his hat and coat. He walked out of his front door and took carriage down to the road to his club at once. Just before 9:15 on 21st of December, Fogg entered the club. Everyone was surprised to see him there. Here I am, gentlemen, he smiled. Then he went over and spoke to Stewart. I've won, he said. I've traveled around the world 80 days. You said that I couldn't do it, but I said I could, and I've done it. Where's my 20,000? Next Monday morning, Mr. Phileas Fogg, the world traveler, married Mrs. Oden. He was very happy. Passepartout was happy too. He was happy to be back in London in Mr. Fogg's comfortable house in Burlington Gardens. He was happy to have his quiet job back again. Most of all, he was very happy to be able to stay at home every day of the year and not to have to travel anymore. We have finished our story. Have you understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's answer the questions. Okay.
Okay.